Many are saying that it is extremely hard to shoot on NBA 2K24, but today I'm going to be showing you guys how to become a knockdown high percentage shooter on this game. As you guys can see, I'm shooting 67.4% from 3 on this build, and it only has an 83 ball. So rest be assured, you're in good hands. By the end of this video, you're going to be a knockdown shooter. So make sure to drop a like and hit that sub button so you don't miss a thing, and let's get into it. All right, so when it comes to shooting on this game, you need to learn to walk before you can run, and that is why I'm going to be telling you guys right now, the first thing that you need to do is you need to go into your settings and you need to turn off your jump shot meter. Trust me, if you guys want everything to come together in this video and you really want to be shooting a lights out percentage, you have to turn off your jump shot meter. By turning off the jump shot meter, you are going to receive a 20% boost to your green window instantly. And you guys will see, once you learn the things that I'm going to teach you in this video, you will see how much easier it is to shoot once you turn off this jump shot meter. So now that you've turned off your jump shot meter, we're going to be moving on to the shot timing visual cue. Now, many people have explained this wrong. There's still plenty of people confused about the setting, and this is the most important setting when it comes to learning how to shoot and shooting at a high percentage in NBA 2K24. This setting changes at which point during the jump shot animation you release your jump shot button. Set it to jump if you want to release the ball right when your player jumps off the ground. Set it to set point if you want to release the ball right after your player jumps off the ground. Set it to push if you want to release the shot right as your player is pushing the shot up. And then set it to release if you want to release your jump shots when the player is literally releasing the ball from his hands. Now, personally, I recommend using push or release. I think these are the two easiest shot timing visual cues to learn, and I really think that having one of these two settings is going to make you more consistent as a shooter regardless of your skill level or rating. You can see right here I have it on push, and I personally like push because the shot timings in NBA 2K24 can change based on where you are on the court, where defenders are on the court, if it's a catch and shoot shot, if you're tired. And by having it on push, you are able to react to the different timings much easier. If you have it on a visual cue such as jump or set point, it is going to be a lot harder to time your jump shot when the jump shot is randomly sped up or when you get an animation you don't expect, because you have to release your shot button so much quicker than you're used to. So now let's look at my own personal jump shot that I use on one of my builds to show you guys exactly what I look for and how I time my shot consistently every time using the shot timing visual cue. All right, so right now I'm putting you guys on game. This isn't even a jump shot video, and I'm giving you my personal jump shot that I shoot lights out with on my 6'9" guard build. So make sure to drop a like for that. But as you guys could see, lower base, we're using Dyson Daniels. Release 1, we're using Carmelo Anthony. Release 2, we're using Oscar Robertson. And then for the blending, we're 31% Melo and 69% Oscar Robertson with a maxed out release speed. Now, don't worry, I am dropping a full jump shot video showing you guys the best jump shots for every height, every build. But this is just an example, and this is just one of the jump shots I use on one of my builds. So as you guys could see, what I am personally looking for in this shot is I'm looking for the flick with the Carmelo Anthony release. That's why I blended that Carmelo Anthony release in there, was for that little flick that he does with his hand. It's pretty much right after he brings the ball to his head, that tiny little flick animation happens, and then that's when I release my shot button. So that is the true secret to being able to use your shot timing visual cue the correct way. You need to have releases on your jump shot that make it so you can clearly see when the visual cue that you're supposed to be looking for is happening. So that's why I personally use push as my shot timing visual cue. Now let's move on to the next thing you need to do right now if you want to green more shots. All right, so the next thing that you guys need to do is you need to go and get your hot zones. Hot zones are extremely important to have because they are going to make the edge of your green window larger, making your overall green window bigger which makes it easier to time and green your jump shots. So I'm gonna show you guys 2 easy, quick methods to get your hot zones right now, so that way you can start greening more shots. All right, so for the first method, all you guys have to do is go to the Gatorade facility and invite one of your friends, and then just simply play each other on the 1v1 court. Once you've started up the game, have your friend let you shoot from each zone that you want to get hot. Now, keep in mind that you must shoot a good percentage from each one of these zones in order for them to become hot zones. So for my guys out there with lower 3-point ratings who may not know your shot yet, I got you with a little method. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take some mid-ranges first, or you're going to want to go get some dunks. Then activate your sharpshooter takeover, and then shoot your 3-point shots from the zones you want hot. You need to shoot a high percentage from any zone that you want hot. So if you're struggling to knock down your shots and you're not a consistent shooter yet, this is what I recommend doing. Once each game ends, make sure that you guys walk off the court and check to see if you got your hot zones. Now, for all my solo dolo guys out there who want to get your hot zones without any help at all, here's what you need to do. Just simply go to one of these street ball courts. I personally like to go to Sunset Park and go up against Disco. The reason why I like to go up against Disco at Sunset Park is because he is very short and easy to shoot over, and this mode is basically on like rookie. So pretty much every shot you take over him, even when he is right up on you, is going to be considered open. And then you could just shoot shots all game long from the zones that you want hot. And these games count towards those hot zones. So after each game, you can check your zones to see if they've become hot. All right, so now that you've gotten your hot zones, now it's time to actually make them even better. And the way you do this is, of course, you go to the Art of Shooting gym here on the map, you talk to Lethal Shooter, and you get your lethal zones. Lethal zones increase the edge of your green window by nearly 70%, guys. So these are extremely important to go get. However, the only way you can get these lethal zones is if you already have hot zones in the zones that you want to turn lethal. So as long as you got your hot zones, like I showed you how to get before, you're good to go. Start up the challenge, and then you need to make 8 out of 10 shots from each spot that you want to get lethal. If you miss more than 2 shots, close your app. Trust me, you do not want to have to wait an entire week to get another chance at your lethal zone. So if you miss 2 or more shots, close your app and try again. Now, keep in mind, when you get your lethal zones, you can lose them if you're not shooting well from those spots. But don't be alarmed. If you do lose your lethal zones, you can get them back. Just shoot better from the spot that you lost your lethal zone, and the lethal zone will come back. Every single Monday, your lethal zones will also reset. So every single Monday, you will have to come back to the Art of Shooting gym to get your lethal zones once again. All right, so now that you've turned off the jump shot meter, you've learned how the shot timing visual cue works, you've got your hot zones, and you've got your lethal zones. Now it's time to actually properly practice your jump shot. And the way that you properly practice your jump shot is by going to the Gatorade facility. Now, I know this may sound obvious, but trust me, I highly recommend only practicing your jump shot in the Gatorade facility. And the reason for this is because it has a latency similar to Park and other online modes. If you're constantly going to offline courts such as the street ball court, or if you're playing a lot of My Career games, or if you're going into the Art of Shooting gym or Chris Brickley, what's going to happen is you're going to get used to that offline timing, and the offline timing is much different than online timing. So if you're constantly playing in these offline modes, you're going to be a very inconsistent shooter online. Take it from me, guys. I personally did not play online for the first 3 to 4 days that this game was out because I was grinding my badges. I was playing My Career, making videos for you guys, so I did not get to play online much. And when I first went to online, I could not hit a shot because of how much latency there was compared to offline. So I'm telling you guys right now, if you're going to be a heavy online player, you need to be primarily shooting around in this Gatorade facility. Of course, if you are watching this video and you have no intentions of ever playing online, don't listen to this advice. But if you are an online player, you play Park, Theater, Rec, Pro-Am, any online mode, you need to be practicing your shot only in the Gatorade facility, and you need to stay far away from offline modes as much as possible, so that way you are only shooting your shots on the online latency. That way you are shooting consistently every time you play online. All right, so the next thing you're going to want to do if you want to be a knockdown shooter is you're going to want to start practicing shots with low stamina. You guys might not realize this, but every time that your stamina bar starts flashing because you're low on stamina, your jump shot is going to be slower. So you guys want to make sure you're going into the Gatorade facility and you want to start running around with the ball until your player is tired, and then you're going to want to shoot. This is going to properly prepare you for those moments in game where your player might be tired and your jump shot speed is going to be much slower. So now that you see that your stamina bar is flashing, you're going to know the correct release for that situation when your player is tired. All right, so now it's time to give you guys my personal in-game strategy that I use to knock down shots consistently, because in this year's game, you need a strategy when it comes to shooting if you want to shoot at an extremely high clip and be a top shooter 3-point percentage wise on this game. Now, what I like to do to start off the game is I like to shoot from the mid-range or shoot from my lethal zones. Mid-range shots have an extremely large green window, so these are very easy shots to take. Even fades from the mid-range are really easy to take, so make sure that you guys are shooting mid-range shots to get yourself going. Now, of course, take what the defense is giving you. If they're leaving you open and you have lethal zones from behind the 3-point line, of course, take those shots every single time. But basically, the point of this strategy is to play careful. The reason why is because it's very easy to go into a shooting slump at the start of the game. Your attributes are not boosted because you don't have any takeover percentage yet. And at the beginning of the game, you are most prone to going cold. Now, the second part of this strategy revolves around the green machine badge. The green machine badge, in my opinion, is the best shooting badge in the game if you know how to utilize this badge. What makes it so good is once you've hit a couple greens in a row without missing, your green window starts to get bigger and bigger the more shots that you green in a row. So if you start off the game taking a couple easy shots from your lethal zone or from the mid-range, now your green window is going to be much bigger because you hit a couple greens in a row. So now you can start taking more difficult shots, such as shots that aren't in your lethal zone, fading threes, or even slightly contested shots, and you're gonna be able to green them much easier because your green window is a lot bigger because you're utilizing the green machine badge. And you can shoot at an extremely high percentage the entire game. Now, by utilizing that strategy, you guys are gonna be able to get your takeover extremely fast. Once you get your takeover, it's game over. And that's why I highly recommend you guys only use sharpshooter take, because sharpshooter takeover boosts your green window by such an absurd amount that you don't even need to shoot the release that you normally shoot to green shots. It's actually insane. And once you get takeover, guys, it's over. I mean, it's literally over. You could start shooting crazy fades from three. You guys can shoot contested shots. You guys could shoot pretty much any shot that you can think of. As long as you release it remotely correct, you guys are going to be knocking down shots. And this strategy is not only important for guards, but for all my spot ups out there with that mid to high 70s three ball. And that leads me to my next tip. Now, when it comes to takeover, make sure that you have on the sponge takeover perk. This is the fastest and most efficient way to get takeover, because what sponge does is it makes it so anytime someone on your team makes a good play, you get takeover. So this is going to make it so if you're a spot up or if you're a role player on your team, you are going to be able to get your takeover extremely fast. Unless you're playing 1v1, this is by far the best takeover perk in the game, regardless of your position. And that is why I highly recommend you guys go put on sponge. That way you can get your takeover as fast as possible. All right, so now we're going to break down how to make contested jump shots or any jump shot where there is a defender in the area. Now, you guys might not know this, but unless the coverage says wide open, 2K is considering it at least somewhat of a contest, even if it just says open. If it says open, the green window is a little bit smaller. Anything other than wide open results in a smaller green window. The higher the coverage percentage, the smaller the green window. It's that simple. And if you guys don't see this coverage percentage, make sure that you're going to your settings and you're turning your shot feedback to all shots. Now, to green these shots when there are defenders in the area, you guys are going to want to make sure that you are anticipating a faster release. When there's defenders in the area, 2K actually speeds up your jump shot. And you guys will notice in this clip right here, my jump shot with this defender quite literally in my face is much faster than normal. However, the jump shot cue is the same. So your shot timing visual cue always stays the same. Like I said earlier, regardless of the situation. Now, the jump shot speed here is faster, but the cue is the same. The flick is happening earlier than it normally happens though, so when I see that flick, I'm letting go of my shot button. I'm just letting it go sooner than I normally would because there is a defender in the area and the jump shot is being sped up. So many people don't understand this mechanic, and that's why they're not able to hit contested shots. I'm telling you guys right now, you can knock down these shots consistently. Mike Wang's already said that there is a pure green window in this game, meaning that no matter what, as long as you release your shot at the right timing, you will green your shot. All right, so now for my final tip, we're going to be going over how to knock down fades consistently in NBA 2K24. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use either Pro 2, or you're going to want to use Kobe dribble pull-up. These are, in my opinion, the best dribble pull-ups in the game, so make sure that you are using one of these 3 dribble pull-ups. Now, fades in NBA 2K24 are a lot different than NBA 2K23. Mid-range fades have a huge green window and are very easy to make. Fades from 3 have an extremely small green window in comparison to years past, so you guys need to understand how to increase that green window so that way you can start shooting fades from 3 at a higher percentage. The first thing you guys are going to want to do is make sure you're stacking the correct badges. Make sure you have Agent 3, make sure you have Corner Specialist, make sure you have your blinders, your Deadeye. Make sure that you have as many badges as possible at as high of a tier as possible. That way you have the biggest green window possible when shooting fades. Of course, also make sure that you got your lethal zones because these will increase the green window from 3 when fading as well. But if you don't have your lethals, at least make sure you got your hot zones. Once you make sure you got those 2 things in check, you're going to start to be able to green these fading 3s. Now, what you're going to notice is it's extremely hard to fade from 3 from the top of the key or the wing without takeover. This is because the green window is extremely small. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get that green machine going. Green a couple shots first. Once you've greened 2 or 3 shots in a row, that green machine is going to increase the size of your green window from 3 large enough to where you're going to be able to hit the fades from 3 consistently. Another thing you could do if you don't have your green machine going yet is you can fade corner 3s. Corner 3s actually have a pretty big green window when you're fading. And then if you have Corner Specialist at a high tier such as Gold or Hall of Fame, you're going to be able to run right to the corner and fade in the corner very consistently, even without takeover, even without your green machine going. And then finally, if you really want to knock down fades at an extremely high clip and you don't want to be hugging the 3-point line, get that takeover going. So run the takeover strategy and the shooting strategy I taught you guys earlier. Get your sharpshooter takeover. Now you're going to be able to shoot fades off the 3-point line, at least a few feet back. You're going to be able to shoot fades from anywhere behind the arc, and you're going to be able to knock them down at an extremely high rate with a large green window. And with all that being said, guys, now if you followed everything closely, you should be a knockdown shooter on NBA 2K24. So if you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more content. And also make sure to go follow my TikTok, link in the description. I'm giving away 700k VC to 1 follower over there.